Welcome to the 9th annual Autism Awareness Month special event, Animating the Future for Exceptional Minds, hosted by the National Institute of Mental Health and the Office of Autism Research Coordination at NIMH. I'm Dr. Susan Daniels, the Acting National Autism Coordinator and the Director of the Office of Autism Research Coordination. Our office manages the Interagency Autism Coordinating Committee, which is a federal advisory committee created by Congress to coordinate federal autism activities and provide advice to the Secretary of Health and Human Services on issues related to autism. We're holding this event in honor of Autism Awareness Month, which is a time when we recognize and celebrate the contributions that autistic people make to our society and renew our commitment to supporting action to address the needs of autistic children and adults and family and community members. We look forward each year to holding this special event to highlight the work, service, and perspectives of members of the autism community. And this year, we're thrilled to be bringing to our virtual stage the Los Angeles nonprofit organization Exceptional Minds, and to hearing more about what they're doing to create opportunities for autistic people and to foster an inclusive environment in the entertainment industry. With me today is Dr. Joshua Gordon, the Director of NIMH, and the chair of the Interagency Autism Coordinating Committee. And now I'll turn it over to him to share a few opening remarks. Josh?
Thank you, Susan, and thank you everyone for joining us today for what I think is going to be a really wonderful program. In my time chairing the Interagency Autism Coordinating Committee, or the IACC, we've often heard about the need for appropriate employment opportunities, job training, and support for young adults and adults on the autism spectrum. And so we're really pleased to be able to showcase in this event an organization that has been working for 10 years to help address those needs in our community. We're also delighted to see so many people sign up and tune into this event, and we're looking forward to this discussion that we have afterwards and to learning more from Exceptional Minds. I hope we have an exceptional program, and I'm sure it'll be an enjoyable one. Back to Susan.
Thank you so much, Josh. Before we move into today's presentation, I'd like to briefly outline our agenda and share how audience members can participate in today's program. We'll be starting off with a presentation from Exceptional Minds, and then we'll be interviewing Exceptional Minds and their team. After that, we'll have time for questions from the audience. For those who would like to submit a question, please use the live feedback link on the bottom of the videocast window and submit your questions anytime during the course of the presentation and during the interview. A member from the OARC team, Stephen Isaacson, will read your questions to our guests at the appropriate time. We may not get to every question, but we'll take as many as we can. So now, it's my pleasure to extend a warm welcome today to today's special guests, Exceptional Minds, which again is a nonprofit organization from Los Angeles, California, that prepares young adults on the autism spectrum for careers in animation, the digital arts, and the entertainment industry. Exceptional Minds provides training to help its students achieve their future full artistic and professional potential, creating a new pipeline of talented artists and fostering inclusive hiring practices in the entertainment industry. To start our presentation today, we're going to be showing a short video, and then you'll get to meet the Exceptional Minds team.
At Exceptional Minds, we're very aware of the fact there are too many young adults with autism that are unemployed. There's nothing that these young adults can't do, and they keep proving it time and time again.
My favorite thing about Exceptional Minds, I've been able to grow so much, started seeing more clarity in my art style.
The environment that we're given here is encouraging that creativity, the talent within us.
This was where I was going to get the necessary skills to do what I wanted to do.
It's really important that they understand the finer points of how to work within an office and how to work within a business structure.
I realized my true calling, I need to be an animator.
The ultimate goal is to help our students actually work in the entertainment industry and have meaningful careers as artists and technicians.
They're feeling good about what they do and what they can do in the future.
I like film, I like animation, learned more about visual effects, found out that I'm good at it, and now I do it full time.
has been amazing, just discovering what I'm good at. We have answers that we didn't have before, friendships that we didn't have before. The community is very important. I've always felt like an outsider. I feel so much less alone than I used to.
They know that they are making progress towards an achievable goal, not just a job, but a career path.
Some of our graduates have gone on to work for Nickelodeon, Marvel,
multiple Star Wars films,
A job at Fox and at Sony.
Cartoon Network,
Sesame Street Workshop, being given the opportunity to write and direct for them.
So while people with autism might learn differently, they bring incredible skills to bear. We always say at Exceptional Minds that what makes you different makes you extraordinary.
There are people who do get it and people who just don't get it. Stick with the people who do get it. They're the ones who will help you be your best self.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is David Siegel, and I have the honor and privilege of leading Exceptional Minds. Thank you to Dr. Joshua Gordon, Dr. Susan Daniels, and all of the team at NIH and the National Institute of Mental Health, IACC, Office of Autism Research Coordination, for the work you do for the autism community and for inviting us today. Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month helps us celebrate and amplify the stories and voices that are creating a more inclusive culture. And as we all continue to learn, and as part of an inclusive and dynamic workforce that we're all part of, diverse voices elevate the workplace in profound ways. So I'll start with some context and a few stories about what we do. Then I'll hand off to members of our team and student body to share their stories. Our team is awesome at training, employing, and helping guide our artists on the autism spectrum towards jobs in entertainment and media. Our students, graduates, and faculty will be sharing more on that expertise. We won't be spending much time on the 101 of autism, but rather the 101 of successfully working with our incredible artists. Here's a quick look at our agenda. After you hear from our team, we will conclude with a Q&A so that we can answer questions. But let me start with this, another quick video.
The graduates of Exceptional Minds go on to work for companies like Marvel, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, and we have one of them with us via Zoom tonight. Meet Kate Jorgensen.
Hi, guys.
How did you find out about the program?
At the time, I was in community college after barely making it through high school, really struggling with grades and not having a very active social life, when my mom was looking through the Sunday paper and found this parade article. And it talks about this place called Exceptional Minds, a school for young adults on the autism spectrum, specifically to learn about the animation and VFX industry, which was something that I had always wanted to do, but never thought possible. And that's the thing about Exceptional Minds that really made a difference, was even though we were all different and all had different struggles and different victories, we found a sense of community, someplace where autism was not shamed. It was not this dirty word and this secret thing that you had to hide. It was celebrated and embraced.
These are the kind of stories we dream of. As Kate said, autism can be celebrated and embraced. At EM, we have the obligation to reshape the narrative of how people look at those on the spectrum and how those on the spectrum look at themselves. To close the loop on Kate's story, after having excelled in our program and completing several internships, Nickelodeon recruited her. She is now the production coordinator on a hit animated series. And she put our Alumni Association, which she also helps to lead, she put it to work, recently hiring another EM grad full-time to join her. Then last summer, they needed another artist to support their work, so they brought on an Exceptional Minds graduate as a Nickelodeon intern. In fact, we have interns and graduates all over the industry. Our artists create original, award-winning content with a number of our partners. And in the case of our Warner Brothers partnership, our artists will share ownership in the content that they create. What does this all look like as we begin our 10-year anniversary this year? Our job placement rate is of particular interest, 87%. And that's graduates finding industry employment within their first year of graduating. As for tuition assistance, no student should ever be turned away because of the financial need. My vision for the future, no one should have to pay tuition at all. This is a wonderful story from last April, actually. One of our partners provided a scholarship for a young person in need of our programs. He was able to take all 4 of our summer workshops and develop his skills as an animator. Today, he's making his own animated stories. Stories like these inspire us to provide as many people access to our programs as possible. So, over the next 5 years, with the help of donors and strategic partners, Exceptional Minds will be able to reach and serve twice the number of students across all of our programs, creating more opportunity and jobs than ever. One last story. There's no doubt that Xavier's experience at Exceptional Minds helped change his life. Before Exceptional Minds, he had nearly exhausted his job prospects. But he found us, and despite commuting over 4 hours a day for 3 years, Xavier graduated on time and worked in our studio before being hired by Marvel. Today, he's been there nearly 4 years. Incredible story. One last update. This slide represents jobs and internships our students have secured in just the last couple months. This animation is by one of those artists graduating in June. Again, these are the kind of stories we dream of. We have the obligation to reshape the autism narrative. By hiring our amazing graduates, companies are diversifying their inclusive hiring practices and creating opportunities for fresh, new, innovative voices and talents. It's good for our artists and it's good for business. Thank you for being a part of that narrative and helping us share our vision for a far more inclusive workplace. So I'm excited for you to meet the team. Before I turn it over to Kat Cutright, our academic consultant, you will see the first of several quotes submitted by our students and artists that share more of their perspective. We will pause for you to read each one, and then we'll go on. Allow me to introduce Kat Cutright.
Thanks, David. Hi, my name is Kat Cutright, and I'm an academy consultant. I've been working at Exceptional Minds for 8.5 years, and I worked in the position of academic dean for nearly 5 years. So I'm in a good position to give you an overview of the programs that we offer here. So for over 10 years, we have been teaching classes to artists on the autism spectrum, focusing on the professional skills and software used in animation and visual effects. Our organization and community have grown because of the efforts of an amazing group of students, artists, teachers, dedicated staff, industry professionals, and families. In the Academy, our classes focus on the artistic and technical and career building skills for 2D animation, visual effects, 3D, and motion graphics. Annually, we serve about 30 to 40 students in our 3-year full-time program. The students in our full-time program are 18 years or older, and they have completed high school or sometimes even some college as well. We graduate about 10 to 15 students a year and have a 95% graduation rate, which we're really proud of. We have another 200 plus students learning in our virtual workshops, our summer workshops, our weekend classes, and one-on-one lessons. These workshops serve students as young as 14, and there's no upper age limit on the students that we will teach. The average age is worth mentioning in our workshops is around 24 years old. During the pandemic, we moved to virtual classes, and we were able to expand our reach to serve students across the United States and beyond. We will continue to offer these workshops virtually, even as we have resumed our on-site classes at our Sherman Oaks, California location. And as David mentioned before, we are growing our program to serve 2 times as many students in the next 5 years. What differentiates our programs from anything like it is that our courses are designed specifically for students on the autism spectrum, taking an individualized skill-building approach to support their learning. Our classes focus on creating projects, with students getting feedback as they work, and teachers getting the opportunity to identify where students are in their artistic, technical, and collaborative development so that they can help fill in gaps and build a strong foundation. Another thing that differentiates us is the high level of career readiness training we provide as part of our full-time program. Over the 3-year program, 20% of the curriculum is focused on training our students with the skills needed to seek, apply for, and maintain employment. We focus on soft skills like problem solving and conflict resolution, along with the actual products needed to apply for a job, such as resume writing, cover letter writing. We also focus on building a reel and interview practice. So working at Exceptional Minds has helped me and really taught me to take a fresh look at the outcomes produced by some traditional approaches to art education. Because many of our students have had a negative educational experience in their past, or have found some aspects of traditional education difficult to overcome, we knew we would have to explore new approaches to finding what would work for our students. From my own educational background of working as a scenic artist apprentice and then getting my MFA in sculpture, I experienced firsthand how mentorship and on-the-job training can be so beneficial in establishing a career. And then conversely, how traditional approaches in education to critique or criticism and unstructured competition can deter people from progressing or feeling a part of the community. Our students already come to us at Exceptional Minds with a passion for animation, movies, storytelling, and art. They are motivated to learn and succeed. We want to provide them with the instructional support to master the foundations and hone their craft, which can take a long time for any artist, but also, and I think most importantly, a sense of community and belonging so that they can grow with and rely upon their peers, and so that they can be resilient and have a home base here with us as they go on and look for opportunities to work in a very competitive field. So in addition to the programs we offer in the Academy, Exceptional Minds also has a studio which was established in 2014. Our Academy was graduating so many capable artists that we realized we could build a studio where they could continue to refine their craft while earning a wage. In an industry that can be very freelance heavy, this also allows for structure and additional training for our graduates of the full-time program. Today, many of our graduates work for Exceptional Minds Studio doing animation and visual effects, motion graphics, and virtual production for clients like NBCU, Disney, Netflix, Amazon, and so many others. Most recently, for the first time, the demand for our services has justified promoting 3 graduates to full-time Exceptional Minds employees. And we plan for more hires and more clients in the near future. So for all of the prospective employers out there, I just want you to know that in my time working with our students, I have found them to be passionate about the subjects that we teach in animation, visual effects, motion design, and 3D, as these areas are special interest to them that they have been focusing on for a long time. I have found them to be hardworking and very diligent. They care a lot about the work they're producing and the details of their projects, and they're willing to put the work in and the time in to get it right. And our students are very reliable for the most part and thrived in the structured environment that we provide them. They're amazing. Now I'm going to turn it over to one of our students who will be graduating this June and will be searching for employment to launch her career. It is my pleasure to introduce Becca David.
Good afternoon, everyone. As she said, my name is Becca David, and I'm a 3rd year at Exceptional Minds in their animation track. So my interests in this program lay particularly in design and motion graphics. I, however, have done some 2D animation. I mean, I knew I wanted to do animation, which is why, Exceptional Minds has been such a watershed for me. Like, I didn't know what I was going to do after I got my associates. But then when I was working as a teacher's aide, and then one of my teacher's associates found this on a website, and I said, yes, this is where I need to be. One of the things I worked on here was an award-winning short called Mythologic. We just won an award, by the way, as you can see on your screens, the inaugural Marvels of Media Award for Collaborative Innovation. This was a collaborative short between a bunch of students and graduates from the program, depicting various mythological creatures in varying styles of animation. So, without further ado, I present to you Mythologic. Thank you for enjoying that. Quick word before we jump into our next one. I personally wanted to say that animation is a collaborative process, and through that project, I learned a lot about collaboration. And as mostly being an independent worker, it was vital to have those skills in order for me to get my foot in the door in this industry. This leads me to my next point. Best practices for those who are looking to get a job in the industry. Here we have a nice, lovely little list of items. So I'm going to get started here. 1, be clear on the job description. Do your homework. Look at the buzzwords and see what exactly this job description is looking for. Are they looking for someone with a certain level of expertise in software like Maya or Photoshop or Google Docs, the Google Suite, all those good jazz? And if you're not sure, ask questions. Number 2, say you nailed the application and you've got a set interview. What are you going to do to prepare? Well, you're going to practice potential interview questions in advance. There are plenty of resources that will help you nail these questions. Like the most common interview questions, like tell us about yourself, or where do you see yourself 5 years in the future? Great resources to help you frame and craft your responses, which will best suit what you're looking for when you're applying. 3, if this interview is virtual, do a run through with all the tech and in your space. Like make sure you have a background, make sure you're in a quiet room, make sure the cat's not walking into the frame, as cute as that may be. But all in all, just make sure you're prepared. Bonus, if your background is some of your work, or it shows off an aspect of your personality that you would really like to showcase to the interviewer. Number 4, have all resumes and real materials prepared beforehand. In fact, make sure you hand out your resume towards the beginning of the interview. I almost said review. Anyway, that's very important. They need to see your best foot. You need to put your best foot forward. So make sure that you have all the things you need: resume, demo reel, etc., etc. 5, prepare questions to ask the interviewer. There's usually that spot right before the end of the interview where they ask you, do you have any questions for us? So a good thing to consider there is to have some answers, some questions prepared. For instance, I usually ask, how do you cultivate a healthy workplace culture? That is the activities and extracurriculars, so to speak, that people in the studio do to keep up employee morale, create a sense of community, that sort of thing. That's a question, that's something I'm very interested in. So make sure, so make sure that these questions really help let the interviewer know about your interest in the position and maybe show off some knowledge here and there. Last but not least, let the interviewer know of any accommodations you may need. You have autism, and sometimes there are things that you need that will help improve your performance. quiet space, communication, being able to communicate, saying, hey, I just need to get a drink of water sometimes. Not to say that, I need a break sometimes, but it is still vitally important that you let your interviewer know that you're on the spectrum, unless it is your right, but just remember, it's your right if or not you want to disclose that information. And with that, I would like to show you this lovely quote for 5 lovely seconds. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to David Miles and Isaiah Strum for our tips and tricks for employers. Thank you very much.
Hello, I'm Isaiah Strum. I am a VFX artist in the Exceptional Minds studio. I'm now working there full time. I've also had jobs at both Fox and Sony doing motion capture for both movies and video games.
Hi, I'm David Miles. I'm a graduate of the Exceptional Minds program, and I have had the privilege of being both the visual effects supervisor for Lily Singh, as well as an intern at places like Cartoon Network and Discovery Network. Now I'm going to show you a behind-the-scenes video from our latest project with Sesame Workshop.
Hey, Julia, remember the first time our family went on a camping adventure in the garden out back?
Camping! Oh, dark.
Well, that's why I brought this flashlight.
Fluffster! What? What was that? Oh.
Hold on. Oh, it's just the trash can lid blowing in the wind.
Phew!
You're right. Maybe if you take a moment to draw what's scaring you, you might find that it's not so scary. Oscar's not scary. He's just loud. Hmm?
Ew.
Oh, whoa! Oh, hold still, Julia. It's a firefly. It's got a flashlight, too.
Okay, you two. Time to hit the sack and get some sleep.
Samuel, draw? Draw Rose.
Rose!
Oh, Rose.
Rose!
See, Julia? You taught me how to feel better by drawing.
It was certainly like a privilege being put in a leadership role on this assignment. It's always challenging even in the best of times, but having a fantastic team underneath me certainly led to one of the smoothest productions I have ever been a part of. Now, for other people who are in leadership positions, here's some good practices for having a successful neurodivergent team. Number 1, set up an employee for success. Presume competence in everyone. Offer multiple training methods. Everybody learns differently, and this is true even in the neurodivergent crowd. Be open, honest, and consistent, especially consistent in your feedback. And finally, do not assume or make assumptions about how we are feeling in the moment. Just be direct, just ask. We might not visibly look like we're struggling, but it's always good to check in every once in a while.
These same good management skills apply to all employees, not just individuals on the spectrum. But here's a few more about communication. Number 1, consistent information and feedback allows an employee to be productive and ask questions if they need it. 2, reward good work. We all need some positive support in our lives to do our best. 3, be direct with your expectations on your team. If someone has to guess what you want from them, it's not going to turn out like how you want. 4, avoid open-ended deadlines or statements like, get it to me when you have time. Those statements are just confusing and kind of make us focus, at least for me, make me focus more on, oh, I have time, I can do this slow, I don't know, but I don't know when I need it, and then it can cause me to be late on the work or have it be not up to standard at the time that is needed. 5, ensure if you're unsure about what we need or if communication that you're telling us is clear, just ask us. Communication is extra important to make sure that we're doing our best work. Here's some additional ideas on how, as an employer or manager, you can make a team more productive. 1, being open to a changing work environment, allowing headphones and designating a quiet-only space. 2, allow employees to process and review their notes, then come back with questions without affecting the timeline. I know for me, I don't always know what to ask immediately until I'm looking at what I need to do, or I process a little bit more information. And it's always helpful to have my supervisor or manager available for questions. And 3, breaks, independent work time, and pending meeting schedules all allow for an employee to manage obstacles. Especially when you're on the spectrum, it can make it difficult to go through random changes. So having consistent breaks, having consistent work time and meetings definitely helps. And lastly, our employees and students voted on some environmental factors to help them with their best work. Accommodations like flexible break times, quiet workspaces, and increased training time have been the most helpful for the members of Exceptional Minds. And now I'll hand it back over to David Siegel.
Thank you, Isaiah, and the whole team for sharing your stories and insights. Now, before we head into Q&A, I know there were some questions about how to get involved. If you're interested in our programs, for example, we offer lots of workshops and, of course, our 3-year full-time program. Everything is on our website listed here. But for example, if you're interested in upcoming opportunities for our summer workshops, 4 of them start this June and run through August, and they're 2 weeks each. Summer programs include courses in video game creation, superhero visual effects, 2D, 3D animation, lots of other choices. Of course, if you want to help volunteer, you can also reach out through our website, or if you want to invest in a student's future, put dollars towards a scholarship, help fund our growth. There's lots of opportunities to give on our website as well. So feel free to check out our site, join our mailing list. Love to get you involved, love to keep you up to date. Thank you again so much for having us. Now I'm going to send it back to Dr. Daniels for Q&A.
Thank you so much, David, and to the entire Exceptional Minds team for that terrific presentation. I especially love the Myth Logic video and the Sesame Workshop videos, so those were fantastic. Now we have some time for a chat with your team, and we'll have some time for questions and answers from the audience as well a little bit later in the program. So yes, I know everyone is getting set here, so great. Well, a question that can be for anyone on the team here. What inspired you to join Exceptional Minds?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
go ahead, Becca, actually.
Okay. I'll elaborate on this a little bit. I said something earlier. Like I said, I was working as a teaching aide. My mom was a teacher, so she helped get me that job. So I'm almost done with my associates. I was in community college, spent 11 years there just due to the way I learn. I could only do 1 class at a time. That's beside the point. Point is, a teaching associate said, why don't you take a look at this? And lo and behold, we see the Exceptional Minds website. And I'm looking at this, and I am just so enamored. I'm like, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. And I did the tour that all prospective EM students do. And it was amazing. I just felt like this is where I belonged. 3 years later, and through the pandemic, I have learned so much through this program. And I hope to learn a lot more and hopefully still be involved with Exceptional Minds after I graduate.
Wonderful. Does anyone else want to share on that question?
So I have a very similar story to Kate, who was in the video previously. I had struggled immensely through the public school system. I'd often felt like I'd been slipping through the cracks, and I was kind of at a loss as what I wanted to do career-wise. I knew I had a passion for animation. I had a passion for storytelling, but every single avenue towards that particular career felt like it was closed off, felt like it was behind an insurmountable gate, as it were. And then, as often happens, it's kind of a cliche in movies how when a character's sort of at a loss at what to do, there's always a convenient news story on TV that points them in the right direction. That literally happened to me. I was thinking about just that when a local CBS affiliate ran a story on Exceptional Minds, and I told my parents, and then they contacted the school, and I've been associated with the program ever since.
Wonderful. Anyone else want to share on that?
Can I ask a follow-up now that you're there? Tell us what you bring to the equation. We heard wonderful things about the creativity of the Exceptional Minds students. Brag a little bit about yourselves. What do you bring? What unique aspects do you bring to animation or to the Exceptional Minds program that can help tell us all about yourselves?
Attention to detail. Drafts and draftsmanship, and a sense of community.
There's also a very high desire to learn. We use a variety of different types of software in our work, and there's always a bit of a learning curve for each and every one of these. And I feel like all of us have such a drive and such a passion to do this kind of work that learning these difficult, complex programs has been always ends up being a quick and not exactly simple, but always like a very rewarding endeavor.
For me, I've always had like a keen eye for like pixel perfect details, which is excellent for visual effects, because that's exactly what needs to be done. It needs to be pretty much pixel perfect. So I was glad that I'm able to do that now. So
thanks for sharing.
So how did you all who are in animation first discover your interest in this area? What was your first experience that caught your eye and made you think that this was what you wanted to do?
Well, for me, it was primarily the fact that I obsessively watched cartoons basically my entire life. I never had a period where I thought like, oh, this stuff's for kids. Like, I don't need to watch it anymore. Like, no, I have always enjoyed animation. And I remember even at a young age, I was fascinated by the process of making this animation. It wasn't until Exceptional Minds came along that I figured, oh, I can be one of those people who also makes animation. And it also helped that I came of age in the early 2000s when a lot of amateur animators on sites like Albino Black Sheep, Newgrounds, so this is pre-YouTube, were making names for themselves and even going on to become industry professionals.
Anyone else?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
So, my story begins in the 90s. I was born in 90. Okay, this is not my whole life story, but this is the story of how animation played an important role in my life. I grew up with the what's called the Disney Renaissance, which is basically that chunk in the 90s and late 80s to the late 90s where all the Disney movies were really, really successful. You know, Beauty and the Beast, Little Mermaid, The Lion King, Pocahontas, all those movies. I watched a lot of Nickelodeon, but the thing that really got me start drawing. Well, I always drew, but then there was this program that came out in the 90s called Disney Magic Artist. It was basically Photoshop for kids. Not only could you use the like special effects brushes that they had and draw whatever you wanted, they also showed you how to draw the characters, Mickey, Minnie, Donald, Goofy, etc., etc. So that only stoked the flame. Then came the 2000s. I was really into anime, manga, so that added a different layer to my personal style. And I think the biggest point of all is that being on the spectrum, sometimes I didn't know how to connect with the outside world. Animation helped me do that. I knew I was starting to get good at it when people started looking at my sketchbook saying, "Oh my gosh, you're a very good artist." And some people, you know, are different, feel different about the way people look at our sketchbook. I like when people look at art, and it made me think that, hey, maybe I do have what it takes. So I improved my craft, and it's led me here. And I look forward to where it'll take me.
David, can I jump in with a question for you? Sure. What's different about what Exceptional Minds does in its educational programs that enables people like Becca and David and Isaiah to succeed where it's been challenging in other environments?
I think because we have this amazing sort of teacher-student ratio where there's so much hands-on attention and focus on individual gifts and matching like for like talents and building cohorts, there's a lot of room for success. I also think, having looked so closely at the program from a work readiness perspective, nearly 20%, and I think Kat mentioned it, 20% of our curriculum focuses on work readiness and professional development. And I think, whether you're neurotypical or neurodivergent, we all need professional development. We all need sort of that differentiator, which helps us understand how to work, in teams. And as Becca was mentioning earlier, art is a collaborative medium, and I believe so is autism. And the more we are able to collaborate, to lift all sort of boats, so to speak, with a rising tide, the more sort of positive outcomes we see. And I'm just completely blown away every day by how much attention is shown to the artists and how much learning happens in a way that gets them to their goals. Becca is up for amazing jobs right now. David Miles may have an incredible announcement soon on an opportunity that he's, going to talk about soon. Isaiah is one of 3 artists that we were able to promote in our studio in the last year. So I think there's so much to point to that works and is a beautiful model. I just hope that this model can serve as an inspiration to other organizations to replicate it. And we're happy to share our curriculum. We're happy to share our best practices. We have this team of incredible instructors who, with all that they have going on, seem to still smile. And I know how challenging, any role is, let alone an instructor who spends so much time trying to cultivate talent and, help support the dreams of our students and our artists.
To follow up on that, so what has Exceptional Minds made in terms of progress in terms of working with the industry and making changes there? And what kinds of changes are still needed to transform the industry to be more inclusive?
Yeah, I think it's really about communication. Doing presentations like this, these are the kinds of presentations that we're doing for our partners. We just met with a large group of leaders and members of the creative teams at Sony. We just worked with the creative teams and the leadership at NBC Universal. The more that we're able to share really simply what it's like to work with our graduates, the more the stigma or the sort of fear, because there is fear in new things, right? More that's lifted. And, it goes back to what David and Isaiah were talking about. Just ask, keep the lines of communication open, allow for open and honest conversations to happen. I think that it comes down to that communication piece. And the more that we're able to help, share a little bit of our wisdom, I think the more people feel comfortable in hiring, our artists. And the hiring has gone on for quite a long time. And I think it's just getting better. More and more organizations are opening up to those prospects. We had a 36-person mentorship program with Netflix that ran for 3 months that opened up a lot of opportunity. And it's the first time that we've ever had 36 of our artists and students mentored by one organization, and they took a big leap and we took a big leap. And I think the last thing that I'll say is we are not looking to change who our artists are, and we're not looking to change how any of our partners behave or act or create culture. We're asking that the culture and the artists come together and find a happy medium and have those conversations, because that's not our job to change someone into something that they're not, whether it be on our side with coaching or on the culture and community side of our partners. And if we can meet in the middle and have those conversations, it's going to be a beautiful thing. And I think what we're proving is that this works, because we're seeing our artists retain their jobs and we're seeing our artists get new jobs, and it's working. But we've got a lot of work ahead of us. It's not to say that it's a perfect model. We've got a lot of work to do.
I actually have something to say on this. When I was working at Fox and Sony, Exceptional Minds actually, or a couple people in the job training, job readiness, came with me and my other colleague to do kind of like a overview of working with people on the spectrum. And I like that it really felt good to have that, and just seeing how far that they'll go to help.
Isaiah, when that happened, were you concerned what your fellow employees might think about you or treat you because you're on the spectrum, or were you more glad that they had that knowledge beforehand, or maybe there's a bit of both?
It's a bit of both, but it was mostly just that I was glad that there was kind of like a preemptive thing. So in case anything came up, it wasn't awkward or uncomfortable to ask about, or really just anything. It just felt good to have more people aware of the differences. But I personally was not too concerned, but I know that it's definitely not the same for everyone.
Kat and Scotty, we haven't heard from you so far. Tell us a little bit about what you really love about your job and what makes you very excited to come in or work virtually, however you're working every day with the Exceptional Minds team.
All right, Susan, thank you. Yeah, I mean, two perfect examples are right here with us today, David and Isaiah. That's what really drives me to come into work every day, the ability to work with these awesome individuals. These two guys here are a great example of the studio and what we represent and inclusiveness. And David said, it's like we work this out together. We all talk regularly. David's one of those, like Isaiah, who likes to come into the office every day if possible. We don't always have all the work, but David's one of the first ones that wants to volunteer to come in and not work remotely. We have I'd say about 12 or so that work internally in the studio full-time in-house. And that's amazing. We want to try to increase those numbers, but I understand some people can't do that, would like to work remotely. COVID relations as well come into play, but that's what drives me to come into work. I get to see these amazing people every day, and I get to work with them, and I get to talk with them, and we get to have fun together, and we get to work together. That's why I come in every day.
For me, it's the same. Being around the people at Exceptional Minds is amazing. And the students and the artists bring so much talent and creativity, and then just also fun. I think we have a lot of fun together, but it's also been really rewarding to create something really new and to know that we need to take a little bit of a different approach and to keep our students and artists' needs in mind. And that allows us to create something different and unique, and being a part of that is really special and a privilege as well.
So during the pandemic, I guess that I heard you say earlier that there are some new opportunities to expand because of the virtual environment. And so how has that outreach been, and how many people have you been able to bring in from across the country? Or I don't know if you're also working internationally.
Well, we do have students from all over the United States and international students as well. We are based on the West Coast, so the time difference is kind of the only barrier, although I know we've had students in Germany and in England as well, so they're waking up or they're staying up really late, I believe, to attend our classes. And the moving to virtual really did open up our programming, to so many more people. Before, people had to either travel to LA, which could be a nice vacation over the summer, but now people can attend from the comfort of their home office. And while there's some challenges there technologically, we've been able to problem solve for that really well. And ultimately, it allowed us to reach a lot more people. And we're still benefiting from that now. As we offer more and more programs. I think this year we've offered more workshops than we ever have in the past, and we continue to see the demand for education in these areas. So the love for animation and movies is out there, and we want to definitely capture that passion that the students already have to help them learn the technology, which is really in demand. And then also traditional and contemporary art processes, so that they can learn how to problem solve independently and work as a team.
Terrific. Well, Becca, David, and Isaiah, what do you feel like you've gotten out of the Exceptional Minds program that has just enabled and opened doors for you? Like, what has this meant in terms of your future, because you've been able to do this?
For me, I really didn't have any idea what I wanted to do after high school. It was like I was going to take a gap year before I didn't even apply to colleges because I had no idea what I wanted to do. I took a gap year and I was going to start applying then. And then my high school video teacher told me about this, and I actually was going to come here for animation, and then one of the teachers found that I had talent for visual effects, and now I get to see my name in big movies, big Marvel movies. Like I have my name in Endgame. That's crazy. I never thought I would be able to do that, or at least never this quickly.
Well, it's given me more of a sense of purpose than I had already. Like I said, I knew I wanted to do animation, but I just wasn't sure how to go about it. I've also learned a lot of technical stuff. I've always been working on the technical side of art, but it was a nice refresher to have those skills again and to keep them sharp. So I have more of a chance of having improving and maintaining that draftsmanship that I so very much prize. Excuse me if I have word salad. But yeah, I feel like I have more of a path to the future now than I did before.
I think opportunities is probably the key word here in terms of what I've gained from being at Exceptional Minds. So this is a very insular, guarded, and very risk-adverse industry. So people don't really want to take a risk on if you are capable of doing such and such task or skill. And luckily, there are places like Exceptional Minds that do take that chance on you so that you can prove yourself, so that you can go out there and show hey, this is a skill set. This is a skill set that I have proven in the actual line of fire, as it were. And I think that really is something of immeasurable value that I've gained from here.
So another question I'd like to ask is, what's your vision for the future of Exceptional Minds, and what kinds of new things would you like to do in the future?
I mean, listen, we have, oh, go ahead.
I would love to see us produce original content in the same regard as studios like Titmouse or Bento Box, all the other animation studios. And I would love it if to get to the point where we are producing and distributing our own shows for consumption.
And did you have something to add, David?
I love that, because if we can become a self-fulfilling prophecy where we're able to really prove out from beginning to end the gifts of our artists, wouldn't that be magic? And to already have created from soup to nuts, short form content that David was talking about, a Sesame workshop, and now, with some of the work that we're going to be doing with Warner Brothers to create original content, those are amazing gateways to those opportunities. And I think it's also important to note that we have this huge opportunity just in looking at the marketplace. The creative market is only growing. The demand for talent is only growing, and the appetite to diversify and be more inclusive in hiring practices across the creative space is enormous. And we have the talent for that demand. So yes, we want to be able to harness some of that talent internally to create amazing work. And we want to make sure and share that amazing talent with a creative industry that is looking for unique voices, new perspectives. And I think that that's what our artists bring to the table. And unlocking those opportunities is a wonderful chance for the studios to get access to that new talent.
That's terrific. So, well, it's wonderful hearing about all of these different aspects of your work. And I'd like to now turn over to Stephen Isaacson to share with us some of the questions the audience might have for you. So, Stephen, I'll hand it over to you.
Hi, everybody. Great. Thank you, Dr. Daniels. Hi, everybody. We received several comments from the audience and questions. First question I'd like to ask is, can you talk a little bit about the intake process?
Sure. So we have our workshops, as we talked about before, which are open to ages 14 and up. The average age of our workshop student is around 24. And the intake process for that involves attending a tour, which is where I met Becca, by the way. And then also to fill out a general application. We do need to verify a diagnosis of autism, but otherwise, as long as the student is able to learn in a group environment and has an interest in animation or movies, they are welcome to join our classes. All of our classes do involve verbal instruction, so that is an important criteria as well, that the students can understand verbal instruction and ask questions. So it's non-competitive there, but our full-time program is competitive, and it's only open to students who have graduated high school and are over the age of 18. It involves a portfolio review and an assessment, a formal assessment with an interview and a technical test. So it is a competitive program, and we only accept 15 people this year, so it's a small program as well. But the main reason for that intake process for the full-time student is just to establish a baseline for students to learn and grow as a group throughout the 3-year program. And a lot of students will participate in our workshops and other programs in order to get ready to apply for the full-time program as well.
Great, thank you for that. To the students and folks in the studio, we have a question about what is your ultimate career goal?
Okay, where do you see yourself 5 years on? I hope to parlay this into parlay what I've learned here into an internship so I can gain more experience. Ultimately, I would like to do something in visual development. That is because I love designing characters, costumes, and all that. I'm trying to branch off into prop and environmental design as well, and sharpening those skills. In fact, a friend of mine recruited me to design backgrounds and props for a short film she did for the Easter Seals Challenge, Disability Film Challenge. So that was an interesting experience. So I would like to go into visual development, definitely.
For me, I would like to just, I would like to have run my own team, visual effects artists. Just be a leader in this field. So, yeah.
So in the near term, I'm actually currently in the interviewing process with NBC Universal to become a production assistant for their VFX for a specific show that they're doing. I don't think I can really elaborate much more on that. So I'm 2 interviews in. I'm hopefully going to have the third and final one on Monday. So fingers crossed. So ultimately, in terms of career goals, I want to become a professional storyteller, whether that's writing or directing. I want to be a person who tells stories to people, whether they're my own or someone else's, and someone who has their own creative vision out there in the world.
Great, thank you everybody for those answers, and congratulations, David, on the interviews. We have another question about video games. I think we've talked a lot about movies and film. Have there been any placements at video game companies such as Sega or Nintendo?
When I was working at Sony, I was doing motion capture for video games. I got to work on The Last of Us Part 2 and the most recent Resident Evil. But yeah, no, it's a cross industry field. Visual effects has, at least I know, in visual effects it has a lot goes into video games as well. Although not as directly, but there's still the opportunity. And I also know that there's plenty of room for animation in video game industry.
Can I add to that? Thank you, Isaiah. We actually have a relatively new 3D/gaming department. It's been around for, I guess, about a year now. We have 3 graduates in there learning to build games in Unreal. And they're doing amazing work. We hope to have actually a video demo available in the next couple of weeks that David can take around and on his world tour and share that with everyone in the community and all the studios. So yeah, we actually have an opportunity for the graduates to come up to us and learn more 3D at an extensive rate, and also a video game engine, Unreal, that does more than just build games. It's also used for virtual production in Hollywood, as you may or may not know. So it's an important facet of what we're trying to build here as well in the studio.
Can I just interject and say how amazing VR is? It's like the new frontier. I've watched a lot of shorts in virtual reality, and it's just mind-blowing.
Thank you, everybody.
Becca, how difficult or different is it to design those environments? Do you get a hand in that?
Virtual reality? Oh, I don't have a hand in that currently, but it would be interesting to reverse engineer something like that and see how all the bits and bobs fit together.
We have another question about the future of art generation with the rise of DALL-E and some of those programs. How does Exceptional Minds see itself working with the future of art generation?
Sorry, did you say what was the initial part of the question? You said with the rise of.
Yes, the question was about DALL-E, DALL-E. Is anyone familiar with that program?
Looks like it's an AI image creating device or program. I don't know if anyone else knows more about it.
Now that you mention it, I have heard a little bit about it, about how it can take text descriptions and produce basically fully rendered images in any sort of art style that you choose. And I mean, like, AI is definitely approaching a point where it is becoming a almost like miraculous sort of thing, but I don't think that in any point in the near future will it completely replace the artist. In fact, I see it more as being something that artists can use as a tool in order to supplement their own works.
Yeah, in visual effects, there's always going to be that little bit of human touch, the artist touch that it's not always like it's not apparent for things like visual effects where everything's supposed to be real and look exactly how it's supposed to. But sometimes it's not, and we just have to make it look like how we want it to. Like a cloud in the background. If we're replacing something in the background, we're making up a cloud. We're basically painting a cloud. And there's always going to be that human touch just to make it look right and not necessarily real.
Yes, thank you very much for those answers. We have another question about the mentorship process. Can you speak more about, from the student or staff perspective, what does mentorship in this program look like over the past 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I can speak to what it's looked like the last couple of years for sure, but I think that mentorship, whether it be internal mentorship, whether it be an advocate or a champion or a teacher internally or a supervisor internally helping to mentor students or artists here, or as we were talking about earlier, our mentorship program with Netflix or Cartoon Network, the mentorships really provide, this amazing sort of through line to a job. So we're really big on creating mentorship opportunities because in success, those level up into internship opportunities. David has had great internship opportunities as he's talked about. And again, in greater success, those internship opportunities level up into full-time jobs. And so, I think the through line's always going to be different. The path to that full-time employment is always going to be different, but we consider a mentorship an incredible win. A recent example is someone who went through a mentorship program at Cartoon Network, and they're now at, Cartoon Network as a full-time employee. We talked about Kate earlier, and she started out as an intern, and she's now a full-time employee of Nickelodeon. So there's this great pathway, but it's always going to take a different sort of course depending on the individual. But recently, for example, with the Netflix opportunity, wouldn't it be amazing if a job came up at Netflix that was right for one of the mentees? And they were able to reach out to their mentor and say, hey, mentor, I see that there's this great opportunity at Netflix. Can you put me up for it? Because that mentorship created a dialogue and a relationship between the mentee and the mentor that now can be, utilized as an opportunity to get that student or artist a job. So we put a lot of effort into the mentorship program. We have a team dedicated here. We have someone in particular on the vocational initiatives team, Steph, who works really, really hard with as many companies as she can to open up those pathways to those opportunities, because they really do convert into great opportunity and hopefully to jobs.
Thank you very much, David. The last question I have for you all is actually for the students, Becca, David, and Isaiah. What advice would you give to other neurodiverse youth and young adults who are thinking about getting into this field?
Well, if you want to get into animation, draw often, as much as you can within reason. You'll need to know the fundamentals of, anatomy. That's a big staple, particularly in character design. I learned that both the easy and the hard way, if that makes sense. Also, do your best to know your onions. What I mean by that is know exactly which specific field you want to go into and what skill set is usually required for said field. Like, do they use Photoshop? Do they use Maya, Blender, ZBrush, Illustrator, After Effects, Storyboard Pro? There's so many more that are probably out there that I don't even know about. But my point is, just make sure you have the appropriate frame of, well, not so much appropriate, the frame of mind that you need to go for what you want to go for. And don't give up.
I would just like to say, just for visual effects, you look up some tutorials. You don't necessarily have to do it at first. You can just watch them and learn some of the controls for things like Nuke or After Effects, and learn exactly what you're getting into. Because as much as I love visual effects, it is not for everyone. It can be a little bit tedious. You could be looking at a shot for a week, and you're just looking at little tiny pixels for a whole week. And you just need to be prepared for things like that. So some patience, some just looking into what you're trying to do.
Never stop learning. There is nobody who knows everything about any one subject, and there's always room to improve. There's always room to better yourself. And also, don't be afraid to try something that you don't 100% know if you are the right person for. I mean, like, the worst that can happen is you find out you're not the right fit. And then you can just go back and do something else. Don't be afraid to apply for that job. The worst that can happen is they can say no. And nobody likes rejection, but it's something that will pass.
Great, thank you, everybody. I'll turn it back over to Dr. Gordon.
Thanks, Stephen. And thanks, Susan, for all the questions. And thanks to the audience members for sending in questions. It's been a really wonderful conversation we've had. I've especially appreciated hearing from everyone involved, the students who and artists, students and artists and student artists representing here today, talk about their experiences, and David and the crew from Exceptional Minds. I'll reiterate what I said before. Employment and advancing education, these are issues that are really challenging for many individuals on the spectrum. Hearing about options like this, they're not just reinforcing to those who might have the dream being in animation or in visual effects, but they underscore the possibilities across a broad range of educational employment and opportunities. And they demonstrate that with a concerted effort and a thoughtful effort, you can create environments for learning, environments for advancement for individuals on the spectrum that take advantage of their unique skills and provide advantages to all of us, to the greater society, by making sure that these skills are put to good use. So these are win-win opportunities, and we appreciate David, you and your crew. We appreciate the students and artists coming forward to talk about them. Thanks. I'll send it back over to Susan.
Well, thank you so much for that inspiring presentation and for sharing your thoughts in these questions and answers so that we can learn more about what you've been doing. And thank you for the work that you're doing to create more inclusion in the industry and help mentor young individuals who want to join this field. So my hat's off to you. And what do you have in terms of plans for your 10th anniversary? Are you having a special celebration?
Well, we hope to have you out because it's going to be in September. And yeah, it's going to be really special. We're planning something that's going to be through the eyes of our artists. You know, come and experience, you know, what it's like to animate something and take a picture in front of a volume stage with artwork from our artists behind you. You know, get a caricature of yourself. I mean, we really want to put, you know, the magic to work and demonstrate what it is that this incredible group of artists do and what the team that fuels them, you know, works towards every day.
That's fantastic. So, well, thank you so much for sharing about all these wonderful programs that you offer your students. And we would encourage anyone in the listening audience who wants to learn more about Exceptional Minds or get involved in the summer programs or the year-round programs to check out the Exceptional Minds website, which is exceptional-minds.org. And thank you also to Josh and Stephen and to our audience for being here today with us on this video cast and getting to learn more about Exceptional Minds. We will be posting the video from this event within a couple of days. And so look back at our website. It's iacc.hhs.gov. And you can also learn there more about the work of the IACC. So please feel free to share this event with others who might be interested. And thank you again, Exceptional Minds, for being here. This has been a wonderful afternoon. Thank you and have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.